Hey folks, welcome back to a slightly more unconventional stream. So I've been running these ACC practice sessions for I think what feels like several weeks now, and I thought instead of just doing it by myself as I normally do for several hours on end, I might actually include you guys, might have a few conversations and just kind of make the process a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more exciting for myself, hopefully kind of fill in some of the lulls in your day as well. And I appreciate those of you in Europe who have gotten up at like 6 or 7 in the morning and this is the first thing that you've clicked on, so thank you very much. And those of you in the US who are awake at some ungodly hour in the night. So we're here at Brands Hatch, so I generally have a loose plan when it comes to these kind of things. I normally set out some circuits that I don't know particularly well or some cars that I want to tune for a circuit. Whether it be for a future event or just kind of for my own fun purposes. So lately I've been doing a lot of Misano, a lot of Monza, a lot of the newer tracks like Donington, not Snetterton yet. Alton Park, obviously, those of you who caught our last stream with Mike and co. Today we're here at Brands Hatch. I've been trying very, very hard to get into the 122s. That was my goal. I eventually got there, I think yesterday. So I want to do a couple of laps in the 122s if I can under these very idyllic conditions. And once I get warmed up here, I might move to a track I know less and maybe start from scratch. Something that I really suck at, like Silverstone, maybe Donington, something like that. Something where I traditionally have not such great pace on. So the idea here is just to kind of fill in the gaps in my knowledge and hopefully share the experience with you guys and yeah, hopefully share some banter. So I'm just going to pull up the windows and see what's going on over there. Mohammed, Simkid, what's up? Virginity protection comes first. Thank you for that meme, Jimmer. It'll live forever, I'm sure. Let me know if there's anything wrong with the audio visuals, guys. Yeah, Mohammed, it's Brands Hatch. So the idea is just to warm up here. I know this track reasonably well. I really like the way that the McLaren 720S is balanced on this track. So I'm just going to get into it and warm up here before I move on to a track that I'm maybe a little bit less familiar with that I plan to learn over the next hour or two or however long this takes. So, let's see. Here we are.
Green light, go, go, go.
Actually, what I might do is reset because my tires are uber cold. There we go. Nice trick for you. So I've gained about 1.5 PSI just from not leaving it in the garage for the last 5 minutes. Alright. .122.8, congrats man, that was actually my best time up until now, so I don't know if I'll manage to beat it today or not, but yeah, I think 122.8's pretty impressive, at least by my lowly standards. I don't really do hot laps though. I want this to be a real life, well not real life, but more of a real race kind of thing. So I always start in the pits, I always warm up the tires with an out lap. There's always a fuel load. So it's never under, you know, hot lap mode. This is under practice mode. It just has way more relevance to what you'd actually experience when you race. As our tires are in sub-zero land. I love this track, I really do. It's not so great for racing because you can't really overtake. You kind of just form a train like Alton Park and go with it, but it's a really fun train. Why can't my hot laps be like that? Ferrari Evo is awesome, I love it. Maybe not so much on this track. I don't think I've ever had that much success with it here. Maybe. I've been liking Lambo a lot lately, especially since the updates. It's really transformed it for me. Oh yeah. Bit early on the power there. Nah. Alright, so that's that lap bin, but it's okay because the tires weren't even warm yet. Yeah, it's the DD1. really cool wheelbase. Every new firmware update is like Christmas has come again. Because it changes so much. Fanatec always pack in a bunch of new improvements to the actual handling, whether it be the resolution of the force feedback, the way that the motor interpolates the forces, so I'm always super excited whenever there's a new update. It's made ACC so much more playable for me. I used to hate this game on my T500, but now I can just kind of feel what's going on. It's very fun. Ooh, what am I doing? Don't read and drive, Ermin. Thanks, Para. Thank you for joining us from South Korea. It's quite a ways. Got bumped out by that curb. That's always, for me, that's the biggest Russian roulette curb. It either hooks in and you gain like 2/10 or you lose the entire lap there. It's such a strange corner. It's kind of what I love about it. It's just, there's nothing quite like it. How that wasn't track limits, I'll never know. Hey Noble, how you doing? Alright, we've got enough fuel for one more lap. Then I'll see what you guys are all up to as I do a horrible lap. Come on, Eamon. 122s, that was the goal for today. Oh, come on! I got some of that weird mid-corner stuff going on. I didn't quite know what the car was going to do. It's alright. I'm still going to try and get a 122 even though I'm disqualified. We've got 2/10 we need to gain over the course of the lap, and I'll pretend I actually made it. Out onto the grass. Very irritating. Ah, 123 flat. Not so good. We're to go back to the pits. I only have 0.3 of a liter of fuel left. Okay. Catch up time. This game feels so bad on your G29. That's pretty normal in my experience. It felt pretty bad on my T500. It was only when I got the direct drive wheelbase that it started to feel good. I don't know, I keep saying it's not the best moral of the story, but basically the more money you spend, the better ACC feels. It just is what it is. Yes, important to get very good exits on this track. I don't have 3 monitors. I've got one gigantic 55-inch OLED 4K screen. It's kind of amazing, actually. It doesn't give me the full, you know, the full boosted media will effect kind of thing, but it's more than enough to drive, certainly for my purposes. Okay, well, instead of wasting my time, what I may do... Ah, the tires, guys. It's like, as soon as you do this, the tires are gone. You gotta leave the garage as soon as you respawn there. Alright, so. 122 is regular, let's go. We can do this. So to those who've just joined us, the plan is to just warm up here at Brands Hatch, a circuit I know reasonably well, and then move on to ones that I know far less well, ones that I suck at a lot, like Silverstone, Snetterton, which I don't know at all, maybe Hungaro Ring, Misano, something like that, and then kind of just use the process to learn a little bit today, to maybe gain a little bit of pace in places where there is none, and yeah, what I would otherwise do by myself offline, I'm instead sharing via the stream. So I hope you guys are at least entertained wherever you are in the world, whether it be 6 a.m. over in the UK, some ungodly hour of the evening over in the US, or whether you're here at a normal time in Australia. Hook it in, son. Oh no, understeer. No! Ruined my exit. Oh, the moment of truth. Understeered a little bit. Mid-corner. It's not a travesty. It's not great. It's not tragic either. Come on. Hook it in. Come on. Not too bad. We can get a Delta for the 122s, I'll be happy. The tires still aren't up to temp. Come on! I didn't think the exit was that bad. Maybe? Ah! Hey, there we go.
Well done, mate. The fastest step so far.
Thank you, Mr. Italian man. Alright. Pressure's off now. I've done it once, I can just kind of coast and cruise. It's funny, for the longest time here at Brands Hatch, I was in the 124s and I'm like, what am I missing? Why is nothing connecting? And then for some reason, something happened with one of the latest updates. The McLaren suddenly started to feel amazing through here, and it all kind of connected. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily a fast time. I'm sure the aliens are lapping in like 120 flat and stuff, but for me, it's really good. So, I'm pretty happy with that. It's enough to keep up with 100 strength AI, which I traditionally really struggled with at Brands Hatch. I think I had to do like 95 and stuff. But since the updates, it's been a different story. It's driving more and more like R-Factor did. I mean that in a good way, you know. It depends on where you're coming from. Some people might see that as a bad thing. Alright, we're going to take it easy here for a bit. Cool down. I don't follow the cricket, actually. I'm not a big cricket guy. I don't think I've ever seen a full match, which I guess isn't surprising given that they can last like 3 days. Thanks, Matthew. Thanks for joining us. I like the ACC multiplayer a lot. The problem is finding people that are actually on it, people that are actually racing. Thanks, Mohammed. Appreciate it, man. I think, were I to hook things in correctly under these conditions, I should be capable, ideally, of like a mid-122, I think, given with where I am right now. But I'm not... See, the McLaren is amazing in some ways, but I found out at Bathurst that it seems to lack grunt under certain conditions, and on a really hilly track like Brands Hatch, I do wonder whether it's losing the pickup like on fast sections. I did notice when I was driving against the AI that the Ferraris were very, very hard to catch. The AMGs as well. The AMGs I think still have really good top ends. So I have a feeling that were I to tune the AMG for this, we might be looking at more consistent like mid 122s. But the McLaren is so fun to drive, and you know, as always, I'm I'm pretending I'm James Baldwin down there. Which is kind of strange now that we talk regularly. It's kind of like, should probably calm down with that. Maybe I should just drive as Jensen Button and make it weird for him. Alright, a lap with cold tires, or not. Let's head back to the pits. I might do one more round, see if we can get one lap that's slightly quicker in the 122s, and then I might move to a track that's a little bit, that's a bit more of a blind spot for me. Might move to the Lambo as well. I think cloudy track is faster than sunny, generally speaking. I don't think it has to do with it being sunny or cloudy. I think it's more to do with the actual track temperature. So generally speaking, if the air temperature is very, very low, you'll get more compressed air into the engine, you'll make more power. Maybe there's a way to make the track temperature warmer while making the air cooler. Maybe on a sunny day with the temperature really low, the track will be warm while the air will be cool. And maybe that's ideal because your tires will get up to temp. Meanwhile, the engine will be pushing more power. That makes sense. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know physics, guys. You know this. This is the least knowledgeable sim racing channel. Yeah, with ACC, it's very, very hard to find an online race here in Oz. I usually just, kind of hang around in the public lobbies and see if anyone wants to join the practice sessions, and if they do, awesome. If we get a grid with like 4 people, I'm like, yes, that's awesome. That being said, yeah, I occasionally try and set up races through my simracing.gp community, but people have had a habit of signing up but not actually showing up, so I've had to crack down on that a bit. I think it's very disrespectful when that sort of thing happens. Let me do this. I want to go back to the pits, and then, okay. So I'm trying to create a community where people actually, you know, do what they say they're going to do, and people know that they've signed up to a good quality race with others that are like-minded. But my community manager is currently midway moving from the UK to Canada, so it's kind of hard to organize those races now, because I don't often have the time. Alright, outlap, let's do this. Yes. It's so much more fun to drive an ACC now. You can actually adjust mid-corner, you can actually do real driver things. Look at that. It's just... You can seesaw it a bit, correct for the slip, get a bit of rotation. I mean, the game still doesn't like rotation. Rotation will cost you time, strangely. Whereas I guess in our factor it gains you too much time. So, split the difference and you probably have the perfect sim. But this is getting pretty darn close. Oh, now we got it. As you guys probably know, one wheel out in that grass and you're done. It's all over. It's based on the aggressive preset, but I've tweaked it ever so slightly. Though I think the aggressive preset on the McLaren here on this track is so close that you barely have to tweak anything. At least that's what my poor memory tells me. Oh, no, these aren't the droids you're looking for. Nah. Breakpoint slightly too late and tyres still not 100% there. So it's lap 3 where it really becomes possible at Brands. It's lap 3 and 4. Nope. This ain't the one. See, the real fun one, guys, is going to be Snetterton. I have no idea on that circuit. I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea what the ideal line is. I have no idea what the breakpoints are. I've never really enjoyed the flow of the circuit. But now that it's laser scanned in ACC, it feels a lot more fun, feels a lot more engaging. So why not learn it? The other big one for me is Monza. I never drove Monza. It's one of those tracks that's laid out in a way that just doesn't really gel with my rally sensibilities. It's not bumpy, it's not hilly, it's the complete opposite. It's like perfectly straight with a bunch of chicanes. So I've been trying to learn that recently. It hates that slip, especially going up that hill there. Oh well, it is what it is. Gain time on the exit, that was weird. Come on, keep rotating, don't spin, don't spin! Gaining time, oh man. See, it is possible to get in the mid 122s. For me, I mean, I'm sure it's very possible for the many people who are more skilled than I am. But for me, what do we have? We've got one more lap left, all right. Pray for Mojo. Oh, the tires are losing it a little bit. Come on. Oh no. The exit there is so important and I miff it every time. Oh, it is what it is. Wow, still losing. Ooh, bad bounce there. And there goes the lap. So that's the one thing about the McLaren that I don't gel with 100% here. I like to take the curbs very aggressively, as you can tell. And sometimes you catch a bad bounce and it just knocks you wide. I mean, it could be a fast damper setting, maybe. Could be an easy fix, but it's not something I'm that well versed in. That's alright. That lap was terrible. At least we got into the 122s. Thanks, Emmanuel. Appreciate it. The force feedback in ACC, I find it actually quite good with the DD1. Up until now, like for the last 2 years, before all the updates, before getting a direct drive wheelbase, before the firmware updates to the DD1, I didn't rate it very highly at all. I prefer it to the AC feedback. I find it more useful than the AMS2 feedback. I think AMS2 is very communicative, but it isn't communicating necessarily useful things. It's a lot of bump steer, I guess, is what people call it. It's just like stuff's going everywhere all the time. But I think I still like the R-Factor 2 force feedback the most, but I think that's kind of just tied into the physics engine and the tires and all that stuff. But I think ACC's force feedback on a direct drive wheelbase is really, really good. I really enjoy it. You can tell that it's dialed in for the DD1. You can tell that Aris owns one of these because it makes sense, you know? Okay, question is, what track next? So I really suck at Silverstone. I'm thinking that might be a good one to move to. For some reason, I just never did well on that circuit. It just never really jived with me. It's not the style of circuit that works for me. So that might be a really good one. Personal best 122.8. See, I'm going to try and move that to a 122.5 over the coming days. I think that'd be a good thing to aim for. But in the meantime... Alright, Paul Ricard, Zolder. Zolder is one I've never really done. Last time I drove it was when the physics engine was super, super primitive in this, so it wasn't very fun to drive, but I feel like right now it'd be a heck of a lot better. Barcelona is one I don't know very much at all. Zandvoort I love. Nürburgring I'm relatively familiar with. I might do... one that we always overlook. I'll do Misano. And I think... was this the one I was driving it with, or was it the Ferrari? Let's try with the McLaren, see what we can do. I'm always curious, because I love driving the McLaren. It just feels so balanced and nice. Yes, the ACC menu music is fire. Okay, I got a base set up from March 6th, so I'm going to assume that that was recent. Man, I need to just use the mouse for this, hey? No? Load? We good? We good. We good? We're good. Alright.
Green light, go, go, go.
Alright, we've got about 20 litre fuel load, so it's not going to be mega fast. But this is one I used to drive a lot back when this still had that single point tire model, and Misano was insane. You would hook in a curb and you'd be like rolling the dice. Unless you rolled a hard 6, you would just be spinning into the barrier. Like, it would just hook in a really bizarre way and you just lose the car immediately. So the way that you drive it now in modern ACC is completely different to early ACC. It's way more fun. Whenever you lost traction mid-corner, that was it. Game over. Now, this is a motorbike track, predominantly from what I hear, so it's very different. Now, from memory, this was almost flat out. Manual, I quite like my DD1. I'll be getting the PlayStation 4 version shortly to try out, so that'll be really fun. I'm not sure there's much of a point to getting a DD2, really. I mean, this has way more force than I'll ever use. So I'm not sure what the extra Newton meters would help with. But if you want something that's of a slightly higher quality and you have an infinite budget, I hear the SimuCube 2 Ultimate is very, very good from my friend Will at Boosted Media. You still get a little bit of cogging from the DD1, sadly. I don't know if it's an outrun motor thing. Outrunner motor, rather. Don't warm up and conceptualize force feedback, Owen. What? Can we do it? So you used to not be able to run over the anti-cut at all? Feels so good, that corner, when you hook it in. You're just kind of getting that rotation mid-corner. You can hear the tires being tortured. I think this might be third? Ooh, maybe. Is this first or second? Oh, man. Oh, man. Alrighty. So you couldn't save those kind of situations a little while back. No! I think that corner is the trick on this circuit, from what I gather. You got to get it from really wide and basically just cut over it at full speed to get a really good exit. Once again, this is definitely one of my weak spot circuits. Which is why I'm here driving it. It's very fun. I'm enjoying it a lot. Spa's great, but Spa is kind of boring with just a single like GT3 car. Spa is kind of too large for a GT3. It's made more for the F1 thing. God, what am I doing? And unless you're having a race, there's really very little to it. There's a trick to those. I can feel it. I think part of that trick is not sucking. So I'll work on that. Second? Yeah, I think. And I think the track limits on this track are insane. You can just like cut over everything. It's crazy. Oh man. Come on. Yes? No? Maybe? Yes! That was almost flat out. Now to complete the rest of the lap. But I've got to say, the more they work on this title, the more I enjoy driving in it, you know? I can just load up a track and a car I don't have that much familiarity with and just go hacks. Like just trying to gain, you know, a tenth or so per lap. Just see what I'm doing wrong, learn the track, learn the car. I mean, that's kind of where the joy of sim racing is for me. Just trying to improve bit by bit. Maybe? Still haven't quite worked out the line through there, but I enjoy that one where you're accelerating through. It feels good. Oh god, no. Wow, really? Anti-cut is no obstacle to this automobile. You can really cut the corners. Ah, 34.
Well done, mate. This has been your first class.
Wasn't the 33s last time I did this? A very fun circuit. Oh, 2/10 up, that's good. Maybe? Oh my god, how was that not track limits? Seriously? You can cut the curb that much? What? That wasn't track limits either? This track, guys. I don't think track limits are a thing. No? Wow. Barely even lifted. Oh, too much. Oh, no. I could feel it right at the end there. Nah, so you've got to set it up to get this complex of corners right, which I did not do. Looks like I got the tire pressures more or less right last time. I might need maybe... What's it looking like? I might need maybe 0.3 on the rear right. Seems like the right side is a little bit cooler. Not getting loaded as much on this counterclockwise track. Or clockwise rather track. Maybe? You really use the curbs to stabilize yourself in this one. See if we can get one more proper lap out of this. I might not need to shift up to 5th there, actually. I remember seeing footage of David Perel just munching these curbs in real life in the 48. That's what made me realize that the original ACC model was a bit weird. Because he was saying, like, you've got to drive so differently in ACC to how we do in real life. Ah, found the track limit. There we go. The grass. The grass is the track limit. But I remember seeing him just, like, munching those curbs. And with the old time model, you could barely touch these curves without risking just being launched into the sunset. It's so much more fun to drive now. Universe, how you doing? Sorry I can't be active on the chat here as much today, guys. It's taken a bit of my attention here. I know I'm not racing online today. Not yet, anyway. I sometimes hit up the public servers after I get warmed up just for fun. If we can get a grid of like 4 people, it's usually a really good night. Not many people doing ACC here in Australia. I can't believe that's not track limits. That's insane. When will I try iRacing? I mean, my traditional response to that would have been never, as not much in that title that is for someone like me. But it's looking like that may not be the case. You may see me on iRacing sometime in the near future. Possibly. Depends on a few things. And I can tell you then. Most of my friends tell me less than flattering things about its physics model, for whatever it's worth. The McLaren rim versus the V2. So, I've actually wanted to do a video about this. I noticed one of the other sim racers already did, which is one of the reasons I didn't really do it. I might do my take on it, because a lot of people ask that question. It's probably the most common question I've had ever since we actually, reviewed this McLaren rim for the first time. So, quality-wise, the V2 is better. It's just a better built product. It has better shifters, it's more tactile, it feels nicer, it feels more together, high quality, I guess, plastics or construction, something. I mean, the Alcantara feels, high quality than the rubber on these. However, because this is based on the actual CAD drawing of the 650 GT3 wheel rim, it feels so much better for long driving. It just makes, you can tell that a real driver would use something with these dimensions, because you just drive and it just feels right. You have the right leverage, you have the right ability to rotate and correct mid-corner. The forces actually feel better to me than the V2. It fatigues my hands less over long sessions, and that's one of the reasons I always come back to it, even though it's a cheaper rim than the V2. So, one of the most bittersweet things about this rim is actually that they don't offer a premier version of it. I've asked the guys, I'm like, do you have any plans to do that? Do you have any plans to upgrade the shifters? But their response is usually, no, we don't have any plans to do that. So it's strange. It's a mid-range product in their ecosystem that many of us actually prefer and feel to the high-end wheels. Maybe until the BMW one comes out later this year. I'm really keen to review that one. Yeah, I've heard interesting things about the iRacing physics. Some of my friends were telling me that basically the moment you make contact with another car, it cuts out the force feedback, and you basically have no chance of catching the car, and you're spinning immediately. It doesn't handle limit behavior apparently very well. Mind you, this isn't my opinion. I've never driven an iRacing, so I don't know. But, I might find out before long. Regarding making a race now, it's not really possible. I mean, I don't really have access to a public server. You guys would need to be part of the simracing.gp community. You would need to sign up for the race in time, and then I would need to schedule it. So it's not something I can just do spur of the moment. I don't have access to just public servers I can up and go. I might drop the fuel load and see how I go. Obviously understanding that my lines still need a lot of work on this track. Might drop the rear wing as well. I feel like I'm probably losing a bit on the straights. Yeah, maybe I can do that in a future video. Maybe I can show you guys the button mapping that I use. I can explain why I do that. I might do that in the... I mean, let me know. Would you guys like a video where I directly compare the McLaren GT3 rim to the Formula V2? I've been thinking about doing it. I can. Be more than happy to. I've been waiting to do a refresher review of my DD1 base. Now that I've had it for a year, I've got a lot more intrinsic in and out knowledge of how to dial it. It's been updated a lot since then, so I feel like my old review is kind of out of date. So I've been waiting to do the refresher, but I can review the rims in the meantime. More than happy to. Alright, Misano. Be kind to me. Woo! Okay. Oh, okay, found the limit there. It's as soon as you get a wheel on the grass. Apparently that's the track limit, for some reason. Warm up the brakes. ACC tuning guide. So I believe Jardier's already got one of those. I mean, I'm sure he has several. He's basically the ACC go-to guy. I'm sure James Baldwin's got something in the works as well. Both of those guys are far more experienced at this game than I am. I'm just a pleb trying to make it work. Even though I did beat Jardier's Trackmania record on overtake by like 2 seconds, but you know, that's fine. Trackmania is where it counts for Aussies. It doesn't feel as bad with the lowered rear wing as I thought. Whether or not this is going to result in quicker times or slower times is anyone's guess. Come on. I have no idea how much I can cut of that curb. I feel like that's where the secret to the lap times on this track is, knowing exactly what you can get away with. Flat, 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 yeah, flat. Wow, flat, alright. Yeah, regarding Mike and SimRacing 604, so as soon as I get off the stream and have some dinner, or lunch, probably, given my schedule, I'm gonna script up that video. Mike definitely needs everyone's support. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go check it out. SimRacing 604 has basically been copyright striked into YouTube jail, so he basically can't get another strike, otherwise he loses his channel. The reason that happened is that he was basically doing an expose on a group of modders who reputedly steal other people's content, brand it as their own, and then resell it. Now, I don't have any direct connection to these guys. I don't have any experience with any of this. It's just, I'm trickling down what I've heard through the industry. But the way that they've gone about dealing with Mike's video is very not cool. So I think it's very, very important that we all stand up and support him, make sure he gets his channel back. Mike is one of the nicest guys in all of sim racing. Certainly far nicer than I am. And he doesn't deserve this. Jesus. How was that not track limits? What is up with Misano? But yeah, that's for the video. For now, you watch me drive badly. That's what this stream is about. And ask away. Ask all the questions that you want in the chat. I'm going to try and get to it after I do my really bad laps. Man, I've got to stop this whole reading and driving thing. It just doesn't work for me. Maybe in R Factor, but not here. I don't have the familiarity with it. Right, I feel like I need to set a far more codified plan for myself because I'm just doing laps for no reason at this point. It just doesn't work. Got to commit. I'm just getting like pathetic laps here. All right, come on. Got enough for one more lap. Let's do it. I do need a bit higher pressures on the right side though. I feel like that one's just not connecting for me. I just can't quite get the right feel through those corners. I was hoping I might pick up a bit more speed on the straights with the lowered rear wing, but it's not really happening. Seem to have just kind of gained instability on the high-speed corners. And missed the inside curb. So that's 2/10 gone. Yeah, I'm not really gaining the time I'd hoped for with the rear wing drop. Okay, what can we do? So we can bump up the fronts by 2, the rear by 2. Quick on the fly tuning. Yeah, Nicholas, that's probably the case. I haven't set aside all that much time to really tune the car itself. I mean, I can jump back and forth between Motec during the stream, but it's a bit dry. It's a bit dry. I'd rather just go with the aggressive presets and see how far I can push that with minor tweaks, that is. These are the stock damper settings, by the way. Rebound looks very, very low, doesn't it? Might chuck out some telemetry and see what's going on. Alright. Headlights? Doesn't do much, does it? Ansuine, how you doing? Or Antoine. Antoine, I'm gonna guess. Thank you for joining us that late in the evening. I know that it's very crazy for you guys on the North American continent. This stream was more for the European time zone, I guess, as the guys are all waking up now. And gals, of course. I can't believe you can do that flat now. So those wondering what I'm doing here, it's literally just a casual practice session like what I would do offline by myself, except I've decided to stream the experience so you guys can have some fun as well. This isn't a full sweaty kind of thing. I'm not trying to min-max the track. I'm mostly just trying to gain familiarity with the cars and some of the tracks that I drive less frequently. So no stress about the lap times not being particularly competitive. It's just a matter of getting comfortable, I guess, more than anything. I'd like the feel of the cars to become more second nature. Oh, wow, okay. Wasn't expecting the car to keep rotating there. Ah, so close. Lap didn't get invalidated though, that's cool. Strangely, I feel like I have more luck on this circuit with a higher rear wing, which is not what I would expect looking at it. Well, my guess based on how relatively poorly I'm doing here is that actual race pace would be in the 133s, if not 132s. I mean, 133 seems reasonable for race pace, given that I'm just kind of, yeah. See, I just cannot connect that first corner. .133s to 134s, okay. Well, that's more forgiving than I expected, honestly. I just booted up this track for the first time in about, I think, 2 years yesterday. So I wasn't expecting to be there quite yet. Admittedly, these are ideal conditions. I mean, I do have a low fuel load and it's quite cold, so I pretty much have everything working in my favor, other than my driving. There's those 1 or 2 corners that I'm sure on this track, once you hook it in, it just makes sense, and you gain that extra half second immediately. I've yet to get it, though. My assumption is it's in Sector 1. But yeah, I'm definitely going slower now that the rear wing has been lowered, which is weird, but it is what it is. I can see the tenths I'm losing. in the first couple of corners. Yeah, baby. Oh, man. I'm also unsure about how well the 720S performs here as a general rule. I don't really know what the meta is for this track. I just like driving this car, so it tends to be my first port of call on most new tracks. I know it's traditionally not very good on bumpy circuits, so on Alton Park, definitely not my first option. But Misano is fairly flat. Yeah, it's interesting. Wow, man. I'm consistently doing worse with the lower rear wing, which is not what I expected at all. Very strange. Nope, not what I wanted. Sure. Cool. Gonna bust out the Motec. Well, the Motec actually looks really good. Good on you, Kunos. Good tune, guys. Wow, that's impressive. Might just be a matter of the slow damper at the front. I know you guys can't see Motec, by the way. So it'd be less slow bump or more front rebound. Gonna guess less front bump. They've really dimed the front bump. I guess they're going for a ton of stability under braking on this circuit, which I guess makes a lot of sense. This should make the car a little more squirrely, for better or worse. That's alright, Nick. It's this isn't really like a sweaty practice session, dude. I'm just kind of having fun on the stream, so no stress, dude. If there's an event coming up and I'm looking to really maximize a track, there's a different way I tend to go about things, but I really appreciate the invite. Yeah, the 720 is a funny one, isn't it? It's like somewhere in the middle always. But I think if you have the skill levels of someone like James Baldwin, then you can kind of pull it through and win many events just based on consistency and like the knowledge of the car and the circuit. But I think if you're coming into it and you're at a lower skill level like I am, you want something more like the AMG to really help you along. But still, it is what it is. Okay. Jin, the setup currently is just me clicking around trying to find something to establish pace. Obviously, I wouldn't run a fuel load of 10 liters for a 90 minutes race. But I don't see why it wouldn't survive a full race. It has a lot of downforce, it's very predictable, it's very repeatable. The car doesn't slide very much. The camber is maxed out, but max camber is only like 4 degrees at the front and 3.5 at the rear. You can neutralize it a little bit more, but I think that probably won't help you too much in Misano because it's so heavy on the cornering. And it's all this flat kind of cornering. It's not like well cambered like the Nürburgring. So it's extremely hard on the tires. Well then, speaking of cold brakes, and cold everything. Oh man, not cool. It's funny, it's one of those circuits where I know once I hook in the like final 1 to 2 little tricks here and there, it's going to be the difference of like 1 second a lap. I do love that sort of thing. I love discovering those little things that I'm missing. But I know in this case what they are. So this sector is my weakest by far. And maybe you can fly right over that curb, I don't know. Oh man. Oh man. I have this compulsion to do that flat now that I know that I can. And that may well be second gear. I remember in the early days of Misano on the old time model, you used to have to hook in that curb with your right tires, otherwise you literally couldn't get the rotation at all. Oh man, didn't go wide enough. Yeah, so I seem to do better with the extra click of rear wing, which is interesting. I'm gonna try to go down second here. I'm down first here. See if this helps at all. Oh god. It does not. It does not help. I think I might move to one after this that I'm a tiny bit more familiar with, like Donington. Donington is super fun. Might do it in the Lambo, I think. Yeah, might do that now, actually. It's funny, I hit that wall with Misano very, very early. Whatever that trick is, I will find it after hours. See, I was in the 133s. I would imagine that quali times are like in the 131s or 132s. Like with like a low fuel load for the guys that know what they're doing. Tempted to go to Mount Panorama. I'm quite familiar with that one, and it's like it'd feel nice to hook in a circuit after just floundering on Misano. So this is another circuit where I'm not 100%. I'm relatively confident with it. Like it's fun, it's good, but definitely not on pace. See what my bass tune was like the last time I left this circuit. It's interesting, I need to try the 720S at Silverstone then. I guess it's really good at those high-speed corners, the high downforce stability kind of things. I had to drive the Audi through there at the last race, and that was a disaster. Every time I lifted off the throttle, it would spin. Where was it? At that corner just before Maggots and Beckett's, the one where you're going high speed, you got to lift a little bit and kind of hook in the inside of the curb. It's like game over, just instant spin. Oh no, I did that cold tire thing. Back to the pits. Alright, here we go. Done. Yeah, Audi at Silverstone was not my favorite experience in the world, that's for sure. Oof. It's cold tires there on turn 1 at Donington, man. What an experience. Also, I've got to say, on the DD1, jumping from the 720S to the Lambo, the force feedback changes a lot. So I can feel almost like what feels like an electric current running through the wheel. It's like this constant buzzing, like a constant vibration, like micro oscillations or something. Very weird. Oh, man. Oh, no. In some ways, the Lambo is a lot easier to drive than the McLaren. Ooh, okay, alright. Alright, cool. So a lot more oversteer on power, a lot more understeer off power. I always feel like I'm half blind in the Lambo because I can't see anything out of the cockpit. It's like being in a little bunker or something. Still getting so much understeer there. I'm guessing it's the very cold ambient temps. Alright, too fast. I've got to say, out of all the corners in the game, that one probably reveals that mid-corner vagueness effect in this title the most. For some reason, every time I go over it, it's just this very, I don't know, it's a strange experience, I guess. That TC kicking in, sucking up my lap times. We call that El Horrible.
Well done, mate. That's not fast to start.
Oh, come on. The car is just like 20 kilos heavier than I want it to be. And now I know the secret is the chicane here. You can cut a lot of time if you just take it correctly, which I've forgotten how to do. Maybe? Here comes the backed up flood of subscribers. I don't know what YouTube is doing. Alright.
Well done, mate. This is me, your Oscar
Only a
first.
few tenths off James Baldwin's real lifetime that was like really easy for him to achieve. Way to go. So, oh, it's hilarious. You know, a lot of people talk about ACC lacking content, like not enough cars, not enough whatever types of cars, not enough tracks, but for me, this is more than I know what to do with. I mean, I can spend days on the one track, obviously if my goal is to get it, you know, substantially quicker than I'm driving it right now. But yeah, I mean, like for me, it's like infinite enjoyment. So these 3 tracks that they've brought out will keep me going for like the next like 6 months. So I definitely never understand it when people are like, oh, I need 50 tracks to keep me entertained. It's like, well, how much are you really getting out of each one? Like, to what level have you pushed yourself? Have you had like all the fun that you can have on that one track? I mean, you know, this is coming from the guy who basically only drove the Nordschleife for about 2 years. Exactly, quality over quantity, and I think that's what I respect about ACC more than anything. All the content is tight and to a very similar quality level. Above all, that's really important, especially coming from AC and R Factor 2, where the content is all over the place. It goes from phenomenal all the way through to, are you serious? Whereas in ACC, it's all at a very, very high bar. That's something to be said about that. Okay, what are we going to do here? Alright. Return to the garage and do a time that isn't terrible. Sounds like a good goal. Yes, I keep hearing from my friends that ACC in VR is not the way to go. So Jin, if I were trying to actually get this down for like an event or something like that, I would default to Unleashed Driver's lap guides. He does really, really good lap guides, so make sure to subscribe to that channel if you haven't already and you race a lot in ACC. He's already done one for all the new British tracks. Don't do it. Don't do it, Evan. Beyond that, I'd check out Tortellini's Hot Laps to pick up some ideas I wouldn't have thought of myself. He's an alien and he does very, very fast things. And without a doubt, usually when I pick something up from him, it just makes me excel a lot more in the race. This happened at Suzuka a couple of months back, where I drove in Mike's league, and I saw his little trick for keeping the TC on the AMG almost at max for the majority of the track. And then come the hairpin, he would actually drop it down to 2, so we'd get the rotation out of it. And that alone gained me like 4/10 a lap. It was insane. So little things like that you pick up from guys like that. So yeah, I'd start with the Unleashed Driver's lap guide, try and remember all the points and the markers and how to drive the track, and then I'd move to Tortellini, learn the ins and outs of more alien style driving, and then I would try and work out what car I actually want to drive on the track, which one is BOP'd well for it, which one makes sense. Smooth, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Glad you've been enjoying the content. Nice easy prac session here as I distract myself repeatedly and defeat the point of practicing. Alright, focus, dude. Pretend you know what you're doing. You know, I've got to say, I love the first few days after a new DLC comes out, because everyone's still trying to figure it out. So I went on a public server, we were driving Donington, and I was terrible, man. I was doing like 128s, sometimes like 130s, and I was still beating the other dudes in there by like 2 seconds, and it's like, wow. You know, you never get that again. You only get that in the first few days of a track coming out. How much can you cut this? Okay, not that much. Cool. Cool. Good to know. Always good to establish the track limits. So I'm deliberately driving the tracks I know the least on this video, guys. That's the whole point of this. Definitely a little bit slippy here on the Lambo. Oh god, no. What have I done? That is not the line you're looking for. Oh no! It's what I get for taking out my own bollards. Okay, so given that I'm still even with the Delta after so many mistakes makes me think that even at my current low skill level I should be able to do like a 127 flat or something like that. If I smash this tire barrier. That TC is such a nightmare there. Oh wow, I was losing that much on just the last hairpin. Oh man, man do I suck. But this is the kind of thing I like to do in my spare time. I just kind of feel out the tracks, feel out where I'm losing time, feel out what can be done, and when I feel confident with the track itself, I'll move on to tuning the car a little bit more intensely, or ideally finding which car is naturally going to work best with the circuit. Whatever. It worked. I think James was saying it was that curb. If you hook it in nicely, it gives you a really good rotation in real life. I should probably start using some of that advice. Yeah, the Porsche is just insane on the British track, so I only know it really from the... I'm going to take it easy there. So I only really know it from Alton Park. So in Alton Park, it got me into the 132s, I think it is. 32s, probably. And that was just crazy. Like, I couldn't achieve the same consistency and pace with any other car. It just rotates like a maniac. I do not own a butt kicker too. Yes. I put that like tire wall or whatever tire mountain in front of me just to make it harder. And yes, this track does have a lot of blind corners. That's definitely one of its, I don't know. I guess it's one of its fun elements. It's one of the things I do like about it. Alright, so given the amount that I gained on that last hairpin, the amount that I'm losing in the first two sectors, my guess is that I'm probably capable of somewhere in the 126s once I finally hook it all in together. Car balance I think felt okay. I feel like I want more TC for the high speed stuff, but I want less TC for coming out of the hairpin, so it might be one of those ones where you like jog the TC dynamically. I didn't check my tire pressures though, so... Some very aggressive suspension settings there on the aggressive preset. Yeah, Jack, I think that's one of the most fun things about sim racing is just like establishing your baseline and working out how much you've got left to find and then finding it. Like, the finding it part is the best part of sim racing for me. Like, just the hours of lapping, working things out, having a friend of yours say, hey, you know, you probably weren't going wide enough into this corner, or have you thought about just like tapping the brake to rotate the front end, and then suddenly you gain like 3/10 where you could never find it before? That's kind of where it's all at for me. I was warned about that curb. For good reason, it would seem. Interesting. Maybe hooking in that curb is a good idea? See, now that tire barrier lets me know, like, to not go too wide on the left there when I come out of the chicane. It all worked out for the best. Oh god, no. No, why the understeer? Maybe I need less ABS. Not brake bias, ABS. There we go. I've like forgotten my own button mapping on this thing. My favorite track, Alton Park. In ACC anyway. Definitely. See, I get so much rotation on power. It's crazy. I'm going to jack up the TC a bit. See if I can stop that. So far, so good. Definitely 126s. Just got to find it, that's all. Oh, now it's hooking in. When I crank up the TC, what happened to that conventional wisdom of TC makes you slower? I guess it doesn't apply if you suck. I guess if you suck, TC makes you faster. Alright. Oh god, that was not the line I wanted, but that's alright. Alright, now I'm going to lower the TC to get less interference on the hairpin exit. Let's see how this goes. Come on. Come on. I think I need less brake bias. It didn't help that much. Alright, so I'm thinking brake bias a bit less. It's not terrible. Not great. You really can use these curbs to rotate yourself in, it seems. I'm not really sure if that's a third or a second. Yeah, the dynamic TC method, I kind of love it if I'm honest. I tried it for the first time. Nope. What? Ah, disqualified. Well, if it wasn't disqualified, that would have been great. So, I saw it for the first time off one of Tortellini's laps on Suzuka, and I tried it, and I gained like 4/10 a lap, and I'm like, there's something to this. But then on other tracks, you've got the dynamic brake bias method, which is usually what I prefer. But I only get into that kind of adjustment once I learn a track really, really well. Obviously, I'm still like doing some very noobish stuff here. But I appear to have gotten down into the low 127s, which is better than how I started, so that's something. But yeah, dynamic brake bias is where it's at. Come on, don't go on the grass. Oh, yes. That was like a millimeter to spare. Oh, man. Come on, hook it in, hook it in. Come on, 126, let's go. Brake early, go over the curb, let's go. Oh, I get understeer over that curb, guys. No, it cost me the exit. That's exactly how I won Suzuka way back in December, yes. I think Tortellini even came into the stream and had a laugh. It's just like, like your technique that you stole off me. Like, yeah, thanks, dude. I'm 1/32nd alien now. Oh god. No. God. Oh man. Jeez, dude. It's so blind in this car. I can never tell where the actual road is and where the... It's crazy. It's one of the main reasons I don't like driving the Lambo on this track. I'm basically having to remember its, what do you call it? Its geography, I guess. Just off by memory. Ah, it's such a bummer. I had some really good turns in that lap. Hey, the plane. Wow. That's some attention to detail there, guys. I actually live next to an airport, so, you know. It fits. My precious potential 126 lap. It's funny, I was just watching James Baldwin's How We Put a Car on Pole Position video. Really, really cool. He basically explains how he did this in real life much better and got a quicker time than me. No, he got like in the, I think, mid 127s or the high 127s, and that was enough to put him in pole position in the real race. But apparently the track conditions weren't that good. So my assumption is that, yeah, you're going to get well into the like 125s and stuff if you know what you're doing here. If you don't experience... Oh wait, I'm out of fuel. Fictional circuits. So, I mean, I don't traditionally drive fictional circuits. I find that there are enough real life ones to keep me occupied, and I find that maybe if I ever find myself at one of those on a track day or something, I'd, you know, take to it a lot quicker, so I tend to spend my time on the real life circuits. Though there is one in Beam & G that I really like on the west coast. That was really, really well designed in my opinion. They even have a miniature corkscrew, which is kind of cool. Nah, low 125, that sounds about right. Yeah, I'm a long way off low 125s. I don't know where I would connect that, to be honest. I'd be very happy to just get into the 126s if I'm honest. Whew. What simulator is my favorite? That's a difficult one, actually. It's kind of a neck and neck between R-Factor and ACC. R-Factor 2 and ACC, that is. I think the fundamental physics model of R-Factor 2 and its complexity is more up my alley than ACC. But I think at this point in time, ACC is just dialed in a lot better and makes a lot more sense from a driving perspective. So I've been driving a lot more ACC lately. But I think, yeah, if I gave my heart to a sim, it's probably still going to be R-Factor, even with its many, many, many faults. I'm tempted to cap this off by doing like a 20 to 30 minute race against 100 strength AI at Brands Hatch. I think that'd be pretty fun. Because I've yet to manage to win that. I come like second or third, but I can never catch first. It's always some dude in an AMG that leaves me behind. Not much of a point to doing public servers, because nobody plays here. Oh, come on. I always get more understeer on the exit there than I expect. I'm gonna try second. Just for kicks. Second bad. Second very, very bad. Don't do second. I'm sure there's a vastly more optimal way to cut that chicane. And to get more rotation there. I feel like I'm losing a lot of time.
Well done, mate. Process place.
When your personal best is so bad, you're still ashamed. Wow, actually late on the power there. I wasn't expecting the car to rotate as much as it did. Oh no. That little hook into the grass there. Oof. Oh man. There you go. There's one tire on the grass for you. That's all it takes. Jeez. It's really big on like spectacularly failing you. I'm like, maybe I can catch this halfway through this little pendulum slide, and car's like, nah man. Nah, you're done. Yeah, the rally games are awesome. I always find myself having the most fun in them, and they always feel the most like a workout because you're throwing and flailing stuff everywhere. You're constantly like heel and toe or left foot braking, reaching for the handbrake, flicking the wheel and catching it. Definitely my favorite kind of driving. But I've been forcing myself to adapt more to the track stuff. Very different discipline. I can't hook that in. It just feels so weird. I either brake too early and then I have to like let off and the line is compromised, or I brake too late and the car just flies out. I don't know, it's just not connecting in my mind today for some reason. All right. I love this part because it's completely blind. I literally don't know where I'm going. It's one of those times you're like, damn, I wish I had triples. Oh god. My god. There was like a bump that unsettled the car under braking there. It's such a strange corner complex. You either gain that half second or you just bin the whole lap. It's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Alright, a lot of work to do on that one. I can get into the 126s though. Which is unimpressive. I haven't actually done Laguna in a while. That's a track I absolutely adore. I have no idea again what the BOP is in terms of cars. I might try the 488 at Suzuka though. AMG. Yeah, select one of my people. See if we can consistently get back into the sub 2 minutes. It's what we call a lot of different setups. I was all over the place. Wow, that's crazy. I'll go for the... I guess I can go for the 37-degree one, then drop, or rather jack up the pressures a lot. My guess is it still won't be enough.
Go, go, go.
Thanks, Juan. I'm definitely not fast, man, but this isn't really about that. It's more about just familiarizing myself with tracks that I either haven't driven in a while or just don't know very well at all. Just kind of get familiar with it, lay the groundwork to try and get a little bit quicker at my own time, I guess. Ooh, wow, okay. Wasn't expecting that. It's way less steering sensitive than I... Wow, really? I had it understeering this much? Man, that's crazy. Interesting. I mean, the tires are super cold, I guess. Yeah, alright, that'd probably help. I can't believe how understeery this setup was. No wonder I won that half wet race. I had more stability than everyone else. Oh god. So much understeer. So much understeer. Alright, now we drop this back to like 2. I think it was 2. And, understeer like crazy and brake hard. And then try and accelerate out of this little corner. Using our low TC, and we jack the TC back up to 9. Thank you, Tortellini. Having to manage that for an entire race was absolutely glorious. Oh god. So the last car I drove through here, as you guys probably saw on the... Oh man. On the video was the Ferrari 488, and I can tell you it's a very different experience to the AMG. I've no doubt the AMG is probably capable of the faster times. It's just a very different experience to drive it. Occasionally resulting in an uncontrollable spin here, so... Wow, really? Just understeer. No spin, just under. Okay, you just eat the curbs. Now I can tell you what, driving the Lambo and then this, it's like... almost like flipping to a different sim. Come on, rotate! Rotate, guy! What's this about? Man, maybe my setup sucked and oh my... Are you serious? Man, how much quicker could I have been had I actually set the car up correctly? This can't be the level of rotation I opted for. How in the hell did I win that race? This is awful to drive. I must have been just like obsessed with stability. Dear God. I mean, it's stable. I'll say that. It's very stable. Driving the AMG at the moment. My God. Alright, so we'll try 3 next time. And then for the rest of the time, it's 9. Alright. It's so understeery. Can't believe I dialed it like this. Oh my god. This kind of setup would cost you like a second or 2 per lap on a track like this. That's crazy. Alright. I think it's like a dab on the brakes here and then... Yep, maybe. Something like that, kinda. And then straight over the curbing, because we're a boat. Alright. Alright. Oh man.
Well done, mate. The fastest steps.
Nah. These are not the droids we're looking for. Alright, super slow. You're understeery. You're super understeery. You're understeery. You're understeery. You gotta brake. Cool. Still understeery. Oh my god. Alright, alright. A lot more braking than the Ferrari. Ferrari's got all this crazy engine braking that happens. Oh my god, there's so much understeer. That's awesome. How did I even drive like this? But the car is so stable, it's so easy to drive. It's just, yeah, obviously super understeery. As I mess up completely and forget to do that thing with the TC. And still somehow gain time on the exit. Because I suck. It's funny, the places where you drop the gears are so different to the 488. It's strange knowing the track, but trying to adjust for the pace and the characteristics of the car. Because this car is capable of insane pace on this track, well beneath 2 minutes. And we get one more lap with fairly not warm tires. Okay. Rotate, 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 please. Please rotate. Dear God, it's so understeer. Almost a second gains on the S's, just trying to learn to fight the understeer. It's fine. It's not fine, that's invalidated. We'll pretend it isn't though, it's fine. Okay. Hey, low 2 minutes. I'm almost at pleb pace. So I'm definitely miffing that whole corner complex. Yeah, the TC helps a ton on this track for some reason. I'm not really sure why. Oh wow, you can brake a lot later in this car than you can in the Ferrari, so I definitely cost myself some time there. Synax, how you doing? Okay, so it turns out that my so-called legendary winning league setup sucks. Alright. Best way to get rotation on this track. I mean, we could do one more point of front camber. I mean, you know, we'll see how the wear is pretty even. Temps aren't too bad. The difference between the in and out is about 6, 7 degrees. Probably don't want much more camber than this though, honestly. So we're going to get it through other means. I think maybe stiffer rear suspension is my guess. Or apparently not. Wow. I forget you can adjust the splitter on this car. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect because it's basically the mid to high speed corners where I'm not getting the rotation. So you basically just give yourself a bit more downforce at the front. That should about do it. I think between that, the stiffer suspension in the rear, and the lesser front sway bar, we may get rotating more. Probably too much. How you doing, Thomas? Good to see you guys. All the Euro guys are waking up now. That was my plan all along. Super long stream, and as like one part of the globe realizes I'm really boring and leaves the stream, it's the other guys that come in, they're like, hey, what's going on here? Good morning. AMG, I can't say that it feels weird to me. It just feels different because I usually drive mid-engine cars, so I guess in a sense it always feels weird. It's usually an adjustment period. I have to get used to it. Oh yeah, baby, that's what I want. There's that rotation. I can't believe I drove without this. How did I ever win that race here? Oh, that's so much better. That is so much better. Alright, still understeer on power. Maybe we'll drop the TC to 8. That might do it. Oh man, that is godlike. That is just... Alright. Just gonna warm it up now and start doing laps. I appreciate you stopping in, Universe. Take it easy. Enjoy the bed rest. I can't remember the flow of this corner for some reason. I think the brake point is actually a lot later than I'm braking. Yeah, I think I'm hitting it too early. Okay, that wasn't a complete spin at high speed. Better than I expected. Wow, alright, the brakes on this car are really good. Potentially better than the Ferrari. Good to know. Tires still aren't warm, but we'll go for it anyway. Alright, let's get it 2 flat. Alright, came in too hot there. Car needs to cool off a bit. That's where I spun in the 488 in AC. Can't use that inside curb at all in that game. As you can see in this one, you're encouraged to... Oh god. When you don't suck, you can use the inside curbs to gain a lot of time there. So there's about a second I'm leaving behind on the S's, which I'll look to rectify on the next lap. Man, the brakes on this car are better than I remember. Yeah, it doesn't translate well, does it, when you jump from AC to ACC? It's, they've done a lot of changing to the driving model. But you know what's funny for me? ACC feels more at home, like it makes more sense to me, there's more going on. I feel like the car's communicating more, maybe because of the direct drive wheelbase. I know that I hear all kinds of different opinions about AC versus ACC, that's for sure. But I personally prefer ACC. I know Mr. Baldwin does as well. I think it's fair to say that these cars behave closer to the real-life equivalents than the ones in AC do. Fairly safe assessment to make. And certainly they put in 2 years of work on just getting these cars dialed in. Oh yeah. Alright, we've got a bit of a weight balance shift on and off throttle. It's funny, on that corner, you don't actually need to blip the brake in the 488, but in this car you do. And it's just funny how it changes your approach so completely, just being a different chassis layout. Alright, let's do a proper lap. Man, this car's brakes are amazing. There we go. There we go. That's what I wanted. Now I'm going to mess this one up again, because I've forgotten how to take it. Oh god, not there. Not like that. No, 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 don't just... Oh, no. Okay, so I wasn't braking too late. I just wasn't carrying the speed correctly. So the braking point is exactly where I thought it was. It's just you have to coast a little bit more, I guess, rather than trail brake the entire thing. So that brake marker is almost at the last board. It's almost at the 50. Alright, we've got enough for one more lap. Seriously? Oh man, come on. See, the funny thing in this car is it wants you to cut the curbs in a way that you can't in the mid-engine ones. So my brain is like programmed to avoid the worst of them. But in this car you kind of can't. Alright, brake on time. Now coast, coast. Drop the gear. Get on the power. Use a bit of the runoff. And we're set for a mediocre time in the low 2s again. No! Oh my god! This happened in the actual race as well. How weird is that motion of the car though? Like, I'm not doubting that maybe the car would spin given this kind of a balance, but the way it does it is a little bit strange, isn't it? Oh man. Alright, so at least I know the car's comfortably capable of the low 2s. Yeah, that balance on that last corner is so interesting. It's like, you have to rotate the car, getting on the brakes ever so slightly to trail brake it in, but you need to stabilize it immediately with throttle, otherwise you're done. Balance actually felt pretty good otherwise. It kind of changes the balance of the car too much in the S's. I find the car, I can feel the weight balance shifting, so I might move the preload up a bit. Trying to type with karting gloves on is always my favorite thing in the world. Greetings back from Australia. Oh man, just had a weird force feedback glitch. That was fun. Okay. What am I feeling that's bothering me? My own lack of skill, primarily. No, I've been jumping around between different tracks and car types a lot today. So just getting adjusted to this car again after mid-engine ones on a track like Suzuka is just taking a little bit of time, that's all. Normally I don't tend to jump around this much. I'll just focus on the one car and the one track. But it's interesting to me going back to this setup, which I actually won a league race with, and realize how understeery it was. And it made me wonder how much time I was kind of leaving. Because this thing handles very, very differently through here to the 488, which I was just driving in that video. Brake bias feels like it needs to go rearward for that corner there. But I'm always amazed at how OP the AMG is. It's just like, when you connect it, when you make the track work, it's like both easier to drive and quicker than anything else most of the time. Yes, that's what happens when we don't set the TC back up. I think maybe I should brake in a straight line there rather than trying to trail brake at such a high speed. That might be the ticket. Gotta eat those curbs. That's why we're in a front engine boat. Tiny boat, mini boat, speedboat. Norman, how you doing? Back from the Bermuda Islands. Oh yeah. Rotate, rotate. I keep forgetting to tap the brake there. I'm so used to driving the Ferrari, which doesn't need it. You literally just lift off the throttle and it's fine. Oh man, that totally messed up my lap. But it's entirely my driving doing this right now, obviously. Alright, let's go. Let's at least get a very basic flat 2. Oh my god, no. No. Those curbs are such a vital part of the track. Alright, I'm hoping the next lap will be the one. The tire's actually coming up to temp slowly. Wow, the brake point literally is at the sign. In the Ferrari, it's way earlier. I'm trying to get used to what this car can do. It's very, very impressive. So with this setup, it's very easily capable of a sub 2 minute time. It's just that I'm not. Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Oh no. I could feel it as soon as I did it. It has such a different balance to the mid-engine cars. I'm just struggling to accept it, I guess. You get so much more mid-corner rotation there in the Ferrari. I'm constantly like doing the counter steer blips to keep it on the road, whereas with the AMG it's just planted. You're like, ugh, just let's do it. Okay, so that time, because I carried more speed, I overshot it. So it's definitely before the 50 board. Interesting. Well, one more lap left. I don't want to say anything. I feel like I'm sucking marginally less on this lap. Alright, this is usually the moment where I spin here, so don't spin. Early, early, early. Well, not my dream of the 159, sadly. I don't know why my driving has suffered so much at Suzuka, but certainly better than any of the prior attempts. Hey, Dutski, how you doing? Marco, I'm actually about 10 kilos down from before the lockdowns. I just never quite got back into the gym routine like I had at the start, unfortunately. RC Pro, thank you very much, man. It's heartwarming to know people from Germany are watching. Hopefully, Overtake spread the word. That kind of sucks. I mean, I was kind of hoping for like a mid 159, I guess. Let me try the same track. FBI, you're going to beat my time easily. This is nothing impressive. I'm going to try this with the Ferrari though, because even though I think I was slower with it, I was having more fun. So I always like having more fun. I don't know about you guys. That's what sim racing is to me. I'm going to try in the 488. In the... I wonder what BOP would be good. I wonder if it's good on the British GT or the 2020. I think I was driving the 2020. I might try it with the British GT VOP. I'm kind of curious. Maybe. Yeah. I've set very cold conditions because I'm an idiot. I might do... Why don't we do sunny? Hey, we've got our own livery. Alright, if the BPM guys are watching, you're welcome. You're gonna watch your livery go around about 10 seconds off pace. Pretty sure it's about right. Don't tell me that about my teammates. Well, see, part of the reason I decided to stream this is so it's actually harder to empty my mind. So in case we end up in any races down the track, and I'm streaming and having to do multiple things, talk to teammates, maybe have a chat with you guys, and I'm not as distracted from the driving itself. So normally with these practice sessions, I'll just lock myself away for like 6 hours and just come out like a sweaty mess. But not this time. Our setup is so close. It was for 14 degrees. We're at 12. Let's do it.
Green light, green light. Go, go, go.
Watch as I just like... don't force me to talk Japanese again. Yeah, you're gonna watch me mess this up really bad because the AMG handles really differently to this car. It's gonna be really fun, but a disaster. Don't pretend I didn't skip over the pit line there. It's fine. Don't even stress. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. It's so different. Alright, you just... Yeah, it just goes in. It just like rotates. Oh my god, it just rotates. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Okay then. Alright. Completely different experience. Like jumping to a different sim. Empty your mind. This is nothing like the AMG. Not even a little bit. Parker, I appreciate it, dude. I'm guessing you're in North America somewhere, or in that time zone anyway. I know it's super late over there right now. Oh man, the force feedback is so different on this car. I've never really compared the AMG and the Ferrari back to back, but this is insane. Oh man. It's so much more direct. Oh man, it just rotates. Except when you get on the power, then it tries to kill you. Alright, can't do the curb. Can't do... Oh my god, no. It's fine. I should have just stuck with the AMG. I so should have just stuck with the AMG. It rotates so much more easily. Going backwards, I like that. I think the weight balance would be, like, make way more sense that way. Oh man, this corner makes so much more sense when you're mid-engine. Oh my god, okay. Woo! Oh man. What is it with this track and wanting high traction control? I'm gonna spin here, I'm sorry. I apologize. No? Okay, good. car is a maniac. I bet the lap time is going to be like 5 seconds off the last pace, but whatever. So different. Kind of more fun if I'm being honest. And I don't think you need to drop a gear there like you do on the AMG. But you do here from memory? Yep. Oof. So different. Oh my god. I bottomed out there, I nearly lost it. The weight balance shift on and off throttle is insane in this car. It just wants to bite back all the time. No wonder I love this thing so much. It doesn't even have to be the fastest. You feel like you're going the fastest, and that's all that counts. Man, do I even need to brake there in this car? $130R flat. Yeah, not great, as I thought. Oh my god. It wants to bite back so bad. No, don't drop the gear on me. You're not driving the AMG anymore. Ugh. My god. Jeez. It's an experience, guys. I need to stop jumping around cars so much. I think the next time I do one of these practice sessions, it's going to be different tracks, but in the same car. This is insane. I feel like I'm relearning to drive again. So it's a testament to ACC. When you get into a different chassis with a completely different balance, you feel it. I mean, this feels nothing like driving the AMG. And that's the kind of endless fun of these things. Like, so okay, it's only got whatever, 14 tracks or whatever it is, only. Just jump into a different car. Do it in a GT4. Do it in a Mustang. Pretend there is no track. Just go over the grass. Oh man, with those downshifts, that engine note, you feel like you're going faster. That's all that matters. I'll take the 1 second penalty. It's okay. All right, proper lap. Let's go. So different. My god. You're putting in so many more inputs than the AMG just for the same outcome. It's so awesome. Like, I feel way more exhausted for no reason. It's one of the reasons I love this car. Aw, come on. This game really doesn't like rotation. You always get penalized for it. Alright, so let's say I'm half a second off pace than I was with the AMG. I mean, for this much more fun, I'd probably take it in a full race. Oh no. Yeah, it sounds a lot better, doesn't it? Hey, Dark Fighter, how you doing? I feel like there's about 500% more smiling when you drive this car. That's really what it's all about. Oh man, the bottoming out there is insane. Oh no, not again. Oh no. It keeps bottoming out there because the car's so low. So yeah, ideal circumstance, I'd be in the 150s at the moment, or, you know, 159s, 158s, but for some reason I've lost my mojo for Suzuka, but it's okay. I'm establishing whether I'd rather drive the AMG or the Ferrari, and so far I think I'm going to take the Ferrari, even though it's slower. Because it feels faster. It is that Italian passion and flair, for sure. I think you barely even need to brake. This car is insane. Those downshifts and the backfires. It's ludicrous. I have tried the Porsche, but at Alton Park, namely, and Nürburgring. It's amazingly fast there. So fast. I mean, if I want to chill out at the end of this stream, I'll probably load up Alton Park with the Porsche and just get in there and make some stuff happen. Oh, come on. That's better. You're just trying to clip the outside with this car. But the lap times are not improving. They're just not. Nah. Oh man. Just not happening in that sense. That's a shame. I'm gonna take 2 minutes, get some water. Unvirginize my hands. Yes, I really should be sticking to one car, but I try and at least make it the same archetype of car. So if I'm going to jump between cars, it'll be between like the McLaren, the 488, and the Lamborghini. They're similar enough in their chassis layout that they're not crazy different. I'd say the Ferrari is probably the most difficult to drive out of all of them, in my opinion. It looks so pretty with that Butler Powell Motorsport livery. Makes you want to support Butler Powell Motorsport, doesn't it? Yeah. Just don't look at the lap times and pretend that, you know, it's all good. It's funny, when I was doing that video with the 248s, I was like maximizing the curb runoff, but for some reason this time around I'm like, nah, can't make it. It's funny how different the 48 feels up the S's. This is a completely different driving experience to the AMG. AMG, you're pivoting more on the brakes. You're really kind of using you're just clamping down on the fronts a little bit to rotate the front of the car because the engine's there, it's heavier. Whereas this car is literally like you lift off the throttle and it's rotating instantly. And you're trying to stop it from rotating too much. What's a 180 steering wheel? If you mean 180 degrees, maybe not. But if you're talking like a cut-off one like this, then yeah, it's absolutely fine. The steering rotation on these things normally caps off at like 450 or 540, so you're not really over-rotating it during races. Having all the buttons and the features there matters more than having an oval rim. Alright. Trying to work out what it's going to be. What is it going to be? You know, I'd rather do things that I haven't done in a while, and Laguna is like, it's something I have not done in quite a while. I may not have ever done it with the British GT BOP. I'm kind of curious actually, what if I go back to Suzuka, but we use the 2020 BOP rather than the British GT one on the Ferrari? Will that make a difference? Use my favorite livery. Driver's my hero, Giancarlo Heusinkveld. It's so funny in ACC though, isn't it? It's like you look at the disparity between the real records and the laps that you can get, and in some races it's very hard to get close to the real life record, but like on Suzuka, people are like regularly lapping 4 to 5 seconds quicker. I mean, even I can do like 3 more than the real life record. It's bizarre, right? I did Imola quite a lot on a few videos a while ago. I was racing the heck out of it, especially on Mike's League race as well. We did a few things there. I think my very first race at simracing.gp was at Imola as well, so I'm a bit Imola'd out. Great track though. Alright, we're doing the same. We're doing the AMG conditions now. I can really put it to the test, see where we're at. I feel like I might need to tweak the preload diff so the car isn't just doing this insane on-off throttle balance thing. Interesting. I wonder if I want more or less preload. It's going to be... I'm going to drop it to 120, see how we go. If I went for a new rig now between a GT track and an 80/20, I'd get the 80/20. Assuming that the, budget allowed for it and, all things being equal, I guess. I do think the GT track is a competent cockpit. I just think it's a little pricey for what it is, personally. My tires are so cold. This is not going to be the droids I'm looking for. I thought it was meant to be cloudy. So far, so good. With very cold tires, that is. Oh man. She wants to rotate now on and off power. It's kind of cool. It's kind of awesome. So if this was R Factor 2, this would by far be the quickest setup out of anything. But in ACC, it tends to not like rotation as much, so you have to balance it. If you're burning away your lap times, just like rotating the rear end, then it's not going to be very happy with you. Oh man, that's going to hurt. Come on, son, warm up. I feel like for a given chassis layout, the McLaren here and the Lambo would be so much easier to drive. The Ferrari is just insane. It just wants to snap constantly. It's kind of cool. It's so stable through 130R. I feel like maybe it needs a bit less brake bias. Yes, preload is a very tricky one. Depends on the car itself and depends on the coast and the throttle settings as well, which you of course can't adjust in GT3s. Oh no. Why is my car... Oh, I'm not up to temp. I'm like, why is my car still understeering so much? It just didn't make sense then. I let it cool down too much in the pits, that was a problem. It should be ready to go next lap, after the tires are already worn out. But I'm curious if there are any differences in the 2020 BOP and the British GT BOP in this car. And if so, how do they manifest at Suzuka? It's understeering a little bit more than I remember. So stable through there, especially on power. McLaren is fast so long as you don't drive it at Alton Park. Not the way, Omen. Held the throttle for a little bit too long again. I find that one kind of hard to judge in ACC for some reason. Ooh, bottomed out a bit, knocked me wide. It's definitely no lap of the gods, but I'm curious roughly where it sits. Nah, this ain't the one.
This has been your muscle, guys.
Vague sliding stuff. Very weird. Wow. Can I match the AMG's pace with my meager skill level in this car? That'd be awesome. Knowing that I can drive this instead. Oh yeah. Almost match the AMG's pace. Jeez. It takes a lot out of this car. I mean, you need to put in a lot more inputs, that's for sure. Carbon paddles for the McLaren rim? There's carbon paddles? The difference in the brakes compared to the AMG, they're pretty similar, all things considered, but I feel like the AMG's braking is a little bit better. Or at the very least, it kind of approaches the corners in such a way that it feels like the brake marker is ever so slightly later. I feel like I have more control under braking with the AMG. Not really sure why. Could be a front engine thing, could just be an AMG thing, but the brakes do still feel ever so slightly better in the AMG. I think the strength of the Ferrari is in the mid-corner experience. You literally just lift off and it rotates itself through the S's, so the S's are really, really fun in this car. In the AMG, they're a lot more laborsome. You're having to put in a lot more steering input to get the same kind of thing out of the car. I'm afraid I don't know any league races for Xbox. I haven't had a console since '99, so I'm definitely not your guy for that one. I'm sure the McLaren is great on this track. I would believe that. But I don't know about its top end potential. I know it struggled a bit getting up the mountain, Mount Panorama. I don't play in VR, so I'm not one of those guys either. Hey, Will, I just saw your message, dude. If you're still here, thanks for checking in. Welcome to the most boring stream in sim racing. I'm thinking once I get off this, have some dinner, I am going to script up a video in support of our man, Mike from Sim Racing 604. Might be good if you do the same, dude. I think he could use some solidarity. I think it's not cool to have people trying to copyright strike sim racer creator channels into oblivion based on just telling the truth. So, yeah, gonna get onto that after this. Gonna be a fun evening. Jack, you're very welcome. I'm glad you found it fun and informative. Okay, anyway, I think I'm basically pooped here, guys. I've been doing this for, well, I don't actually know. I don't have the timer on there, but it's been a while. I've run through a few tracks, haven't really made the progress that I wanted to, a little bit here and there, but I think next time I do this offline, I'm going to have a more dedicated plan on a pick a certain car, pick a certain track, and stick with it till you actually get the kind of improvements that you want, rather than jumping around quite so much. But it was very interesting to compare the AMG to the Ferrari here at Suzuka, and above all, kind of feel the difference in how they handle. That sucks, Will, man. That's awful. It's interesting how that kind of thing can happen, and how easy it is to happen in this era. Yeah, sleep and patience, they sound like a good combination of things. Alright guys, thank you for joining in the stream as I keep coasting in this crazy Ferrari. I'll see you in the next one. I might stream the next practice, I might not. Really depends. This is more just kind of for fun, so if you guys had fun, do let me know. And I'll just stream the next one. We'll hang out again while I do the same thing, except a lot more boring, because I'll be doing the one track and the one car probably for a lot longer. So, again, peace. Have a good night, day, morning, wherever you are.